Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Warmly welcome to our Expert Talk as a webcast with the theme SAP HANA Application Security. In this webcast, we will explain why it is necessary to have a deeper look into the certified security concept for the SAP landscape. Who is in the webcast? At first, Florian. Hi, Florian.
Thanks, Klaus, for having me here. Short note to my person, I'm working for the architecture and security consulting for SAP HANA by IT systems since 2015. So I helped a lot of customers introducing them to the secure HANA environment, and I'm looking forward today to answer maybe some open questions you might have, and also to introduce you to our security model.
Yeah, thanks, Florian. Yeah, and second, with some questions in the back. My name is Klaus, working marketing SAP and cloud, and with a lot of questions for the next time. Okay, now we'll switch on the starting point about security solutions are getting more and more an important key for the business world. But do we are always looking to the security topic during or before starting a project? We ask clients about it, and now you can see the result of the survey about the topic SAP security during SAP HANA transformation. You see that nearly 30% don't think about security during the SAP HANA transformation. Florian, you as an expert in SAP security and SAP HANA transformation, how safely are the SAP landscape against cyber attacks, and are there additional risks after the SAP HANA transformation?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, you can compare it to the security of the SAP landscape to your work laptop. So even here, you got the basic security from the manufacturer or the software manufacturer. And if you want to have more secure system, you have to do it on your own. So basically, you see in practice often you have additional port scanners, antivirus scanners, additional firewall rules, etc. on your system to really secure it from the outside world. And that's basically the same with an SAP landscape in general, and in particular with SAP HANA, you do not just have a database, you have a whole appliance. So you got an application layer, you got a lot of different communication ways to your SAP HANA system from the outside, and all this has to be configured in a secure manner. So it's like the model, with great power comes great responsibility. And yeah, so that basically means or implies that you should have a look on your own security concepts for an SAP HANA system as well, and not just rely on that what the manufacturer is giving to you.
Yeah, and about cyber attacks, how can I imagine the many cyber attacks now? Do you have some numbers or something like it for me?
Yeah, and if you go to the next page, we have a very nice visualization for it. Let me show it to you in real time. I just share my desktop. And here you can see a little dashboard where we visualize the attacks on honeypot systems from our systems and our partners. So you can see, for example, in the upper left corner, we have 24,000 attacks just in the last minute. So a very, very high number. And when you have a look on the last 24 hours, so the last day, you see that the number is right about 33 million attacks in just one day. So it's a horrifying number if you see it here. And that is something you do not see in your daily business life, but the fear of it should be real. So even some very nice insights here are from the live tracker on the bottom. Here you can see, for example, the type of attack that is performed on the systems. And on the right side, you can also see the countries where the attacks are deployed from. So a very nice insight in how great the impact of security in such a business environment would be to just defend such cyber attacks.
That sounds nice, Florian. And what are the systems experience with our clients about SAP and security in this form?
Yeah, in particular for SAP HANA, it's often the case that the companies or customers just say they want to try out SAP HANA. So often they already have SAP HANA database somewhere in the company and just to do some research on it. So, but the typical questions or topics that will appear every time are the authorization concept for the SAP HANA users, the special roles for the developers, maybe the question if all the default roles are that well designed in the first place, or if there are maybe some better approaches than using the default roles. Also, how do I integrate my S4HANA system, SAP HANA system, or my BV system with my SAP HANA system, and so on. So that are basically the main questions our customers have in the first place. And often we can just explain them with our 3 pillars picture. You can see it here on this page. And basically, that is also the 3 pillars our smart security is relying on. So in the first one, we have the authorization concept for the SAP HANA users. The second is the settings, which basically means the secure configuration of the SAP HANA system itself. And we also offer a security reporting so that you as customer can see where are my security findings in particular. When we have a look on the next page, we have deep insight in the different components of our smart security suite. So as I just mentioned, we have the role-based template, and here the customer can decide how he or she would use it. So on the one hand, you can use our predefined roles, and on the other hand, you can use our role templates. Both of the solutions offer a segregation of duties. So you have the segregation of duties between the provider, the database users, and the database admin, as well as between the T-System users and the customer users on the system. We are also offering some audit policies when we are deploying our solution on the system. And here the way we try to introduce the auditing to the system is that we have a great balance between the security. So we will report very much everything that is relevant for security reporting. And on the other hand, we won't report too much because an auditing, which is too heavy, also reduces the performance of the whole system. So you have to find the very great balance, and I think we did it here. Another part is the best practice reporting, like I just mentioned, so that you have a combination of our baselines from the SAP as well as from the DSAG. And we try to give you as a customer the ability to see where are my security findings. So you can imagine this something like an antivirus scanner you can directly execute on your SAP HANA system. The hardening of the default settings basically means that we configure the HANA in a secure way. For example, we implement an SSL encryption on the system. We set secure password policies on the system, etc. We have a simple roller and transporter management. That's basically because we use the native functionality of SAP called delivery unit, where we can just deploy a delivery unit package on your HANA system, and then you're ready to go and can use all of our smart security tools directly on your HANA system. And therefore, you can also transport it very easily to the other systems as well. The schema assignment and roles basically means that we have one schema called NSD_SM, where all our procedures, functions, tables, views are stored in. And so when you have the solution on your database, you know that it's all in one place. So you do not have different places on the system. You have all in one place and execute your functions from there. The HR solution is very great feature if you have HR data on your system. Basically, you have to create something like a segregation of duties here as well for the HR users and the non-HR users. So the HR users should access the HR content in the tables, and the non-HR users shouldn't have access to it. And we created a procedure here again, which automatically grants the HR content to the HR users, even if new content is added, and restrict the access to the non-HR users. The firefighter functionality is also a great feature if something happens on your system. So you have the ability to, on the one hand, create a firefighter user with our firefighter admin procedure. And on the other hand, if you want to go this way, you can also implement a structure in your roles that some of your users are allowed to create a firefighter user for him or herself. And this firefighter user would be available for 8 hours then. After the 8 hours, it would be locked again. And all what the firefighter user did make on the system would be reported and logged into the system. So you have a great overview after it, what the firefighter user actually did on the system.
Then I can read about today's workshop. What can I, as a client, think about it? What will I get in this form?
Yeah, we introduced the 2 days workshop to our solution because we didn't want just to give the customer a set of tools he can use, or he or she can use. We wanted to make it a consulting approach instead, so that the customer can ask his or her questions, his or her demands, and we can go into it and have a look on the system and can explain it to him or her. We also, on the second day, often talk about the smart security in general and show all the features again on the customer system itself. Maybe give some more tips or insights in the HANA landscape, how I can deploy something to it, how I can create views, procedures, etc. So that's mainly because we don't want that the customer stands there with our tools and tries something. We want that the customer understands the solution.
Okay, you talk about tools. It is possible to see a dashboard live in this form?
Yeah, we can do that. I will show my screen again. And here you can see, for example, our central report. So as I mentioned, the antivirus scanner-like approach we offer with our solution. You basically have different options to execute them. You can do it in HANA Studio, in the web IDE, or we also have a Fiori interface where you can see and also export this as a PDF report. So I just executed the SQL statement here, and what we are getting is a nice little overview about our security status on the system. So we have different baselines. That's our default setup for the baselines. We also have some other baselines here. You can see it, some deactivated baselines that are not part of our default configuration, and also some ad hoc reports which you can execute on a single by single. Each of the baseline have a baseline type, so whether it's a warning or an information-only baseline, you can see the amount of findings on the system here, a little description, the classification, is it high priority, medium, or low, And we also don't have just database sources and security reports. We also do some reports on the OS level as well. So just jump into one of our baselines here that you might have a deeper look what is meant by the detail view. For example, here you can see just an information-only baseline that will just give us the currently deployed HANA version. If we want to have a deeper look in something like security-related topic here, this baseline gives us the information if system privileges are granted to other users than database administrators. We can jump right into it here. And basically, you can see, so that's our development system here. So that's my user, for example, and you can see that I have much more privileges than I should have. But because it's our developing system, it does not matter that hard here. Yeah, and so basically we can go step by step, also together with the customer through the reports and baselines, and then discuss the different security refinings and try to reduce them. So that is our approach here.
From which industries your clients are coming?
Yeah, we got many industries already. So, for example, as you can see here, retail, food, plastics, pharma, finance, different engineering companies, and oil industries as well. And for deeper insight, we also have selected some experience we got from different industries. So, for example, in the finance sector, we got the question, are we up to date? That was when HANA 2.0 was emerging on the market, and the finance company got their first HANA 2.0 systems. And what we had to do was that we had to implement and adapt our smart security to the new HANA version. We updated some procedures, some functions, added some new some new outlooks to the system, that we are also ready for a HANA 2.0 system now. So that was one approach. Another one was in the retail sector. The question emerged, where should we start? So the company itself didn't have any experience on the first time with SAP HANA, and there we started to explain to them how you can use SAP HANA, how you can interact with SAP HANA, for example, through the SAP HANA, through SAP HANA Cockpit, or through the web IDE, how you can create views, how you can develop your first application on the HANA, an application layer, and so on. So a completely different approach here, but also you need to have an authorization concept for it, for your developers, for example, and for the daily day-to-day users. In the engineering sector, we got another problem that they had already an authorization concept on their HANA system. So let's call it authorization concept, because it was mainly the approach that the developer needs everything, so they got everything. And yeah, so the approach here we got was that we go to the authorization concept together with our central report and together also with the customer, and adjust each finding of the security model to a secure and to a more secure authorization concept. So you have to very go through step by step to each user and have to adapt it. But therefore, our security reporting is very useful and helpful, and so you get it in a very fast way to have, in the end, a much more secure authorization concept than before. In the plastics industry, we also got an interesting request. It was last year. So the customer here had about over 30 HANA systems. He and she already had his own kind of authorization concept as well, but they wanted to make it more secure. So in the first place, we just deployed our smart security to all of the HANA systems. We adjusted the basic HANA configuration. We adjusted the password policies to make it more secure. We adjusted the communication channels so that an SSL encryption is used in the landscape. And we also introduced some new features to the HANA system. So one customer request was, for example, they wanted a different firefighter approach on the system. They don't want to have an admin firefighter user who can grant all the firefighter and firefighter roles to the users. They wanted to have the ability that one user can create their own firefighter user for a limited time. And that is exactly what we built for them. And a great side effect of this is that this feature is now included in smart security in general. So every customer is benefiting from that experience again. So that also shows that we're also trying to add new features and functions to our security concept when we are in the projects and doing some new updates there.
Why are our clients coming to the system?
Yeah, that's because we are pioneers in the SAP HANA security environment, also pioneers in the SAP HANA encryption. We have a deep knowledge in all the security-related topics in the rule landscape, so not just even native HANA development, also in connecting HANA with a DV system, with S4HANA systems, and also in the migration process. So we have our expert from any HANA-connected topic here. As I just mentioned, we always try to implement new features to smart security and to make it even better each time with each project. And we also have a good partnership with the SAP HANA department from SAP. And also, last but not least, our solution is certified by SAP as powered by SAP HANA. So we also got the backend from the software manufacturer itself.
Great. Thanks, Florian. We're coming now to the end of our talk. Let us have a summary. What are your key takeaways for our audience?
Yeah, so I would assume that the key takeaways would just be the three pillars of our solution. So when you have to think about your HANA migration or your HANA implementation project, you should always consider an authorization concept in the first place for your SAP HANA users. That's very important, even to have it before you actually start developing something on the system, because you will need a role, for example, for your developers. The second thing is that you adjust your HANA in a secure way. So think about an SSL encryption, for example. Password policies are a very important factor here. And a very nice feature for you to check yourself or to challenge yourself is something like security reporting, where you can see where are my security findings, where do I have to adjust something in my system.
Last but not least, the context and additional info, Florian. You are not alone.
Yeah, you can just contact me or Markus Böhmer as well. He's also part of the SAP HANA Smart Security team and developed it in the first place. So if you got any questions, then just head them to Markus or to me.
Okay, thanks, Florian. At the end, which thesis would you give our audience?
Yeah, maybe a nice metaphor would be that SAP S4HANA migration without a SAP HANA security model is like building a treehouse without a tree. So you can imagine the tree here as the security concept and the treehouse as your application you want to run on it. And when you don't have the security model, you won't be able to build a treehouse. You maybe end up like you see in the picture with a floating treehouse, and with the first storm it maybe flows away. So always think about a secure or a great security model in the first place. So that would be my MVP.
Thank you.